Are we ready?
Yeah, we've been ready for about 20 minutes now.
If Luke joins
I've been ready
now,
for
I'm
30
gonna
minutes.
walk to the Netherlands just to smack his mum and then come back. I'm joking. Okay. If
Didn't go there
if
for
you're
anything.
watching Luke's mum, I'm joking. Right, so we're gonna go for a bit of an overview of the world first. So, the Strixhaven School, basically, imagine if Magic the Gathering rehashed Hogwarts. So it's a school of magic, and it's on the plane of Arcavios.
A lot more laser sounds.
What?
A lot more laser sounds. Carry on.
Yeah. So Arcavios is a plane in the world of Magic the Gathering, which is believed to be the meeting point of all the other planes in Magic. And the plane has snarls, which are areas where these different planes have collided, and magic can be distorted, amplified. And it's also got these things called star arches, which are essentially these massive geometric phenomenons where these rocks sort of just pause in time, floating in the sky with a very, very specific inner axis and a very more rough and weird sort of star shape to it. Some can be canonically they don't move, but some of them in my world spin, and some of them are mysteriously clean, some of them are really overgrown and mossy, and they appear throughout the plane. This plane is also the birthplace of the Strixhaven School of Magic, where countless young mages are honing their magical abilities to the maximum. And the 4 players you see, well, should be 5, cock off, Luke's dead. The 5 players we have today will be starting as first years. Those who possess power in from Strixhaven, even just on the plane themselves, are revered throughout the lands. The wisest of these powerful individuals are called the Oracle. Now, the Oracle is a very, very powerful being. They're essentially the best magic users.
Dumbledore.
The wisest. Yeah, like Dumbledore would probably be the Oracle of his time. But they have a very, very innate magical ability. They can control it very well. They understand the inner workings of in all aspects of magic. And the Oracle and the school was founded in hopes that through discipline, magic will be safe in the hands of those who possess it. So a lot of the school is just to help these young scholars sort of hone their magic rather than just letting it blow up in their face. Now, we are going to zoom into our first player, Tiktuk. So we come to sort of an arid desert area where all anyone can hear for miles around them are the sounds of like a heavy hammer on an anvil. You hear a lot of like drill sounds. You hear a lot of like tinkering with like screwdrivers and the clangings of metal. And coming into it, you see that it's a small goblin community. And in this area, there are tunnel systems, carved out living areas on the sides of like this raise in the terrain. There are carved in areas where people live. There's a lot of meat roasting on open fires, like just sort of darted around the encampment. There are stalls scattered about, thrown together with scrap pieces of rusted metal, with goblins throwing things, screws, bolts, and other random knickknacks, bartering with other goblins very aggressively. They're not very eloquent with their speech. They're all quite aggressive. And you see along the back line, like I mentioned earlier, there are these carved out areas in raises of terrain, which are the living quarters. And as you zoom into one of them, you see a small red goblin. In fact, sorry, Robbie, would you like to describe your character?
Hello. I'm Tiktuk. So Tiktuk's a sort of small red goblin of wispy black hair, permanently wearing sort of this heavy chainmail armor and using prosthetics with a prosthetic leg and adjustments to his hands. We've also got sort of little rings on them to protect him from accidentally nicking himself with his own tools. Sort of beady yellow eyes, just general small lanky creature. So
Yeah.
so he's got it was a chainmail The only thing you notice that's different about his sort of scale mail compared to normal is that it's sort of got his own mini carving of where his spine, where the vertebrae of his spine should be. He's still trying to work out what things should look like on a goblin, or just on creatures in general.
I fucking love it. So you're sort of sat on this workbench. Would you say you're tinkering with things in the morning as you wake up?
Yeah.
So you wake up, you're like, all right, well, what can I make today, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of just fixing up his own little glove that he's got. Because after, when you're working with tools and one too many accidents, you've got to protect your fingers. So
Yeah, of course.
he's just adjusting his glove that he's made for sort of makeshift protection. So attaching, cutting the fingers off gloves and attaching little rings to it with sheet
I
metal.
thought about saying you cut your own
between-
fingers off, just
Oh.
attaching prosthetics on there, you know.
No, just like I know, sort of rings you get, but just little bits of plate metal just at the top and the bottom of the finger, just to protect from accidentally cutting himself.
Yeah.
He's sort of trying to work out, can he sort of hold the fist with it? Just trying to test out everything.
Yeah,
he might
just a
need to
lot
use
of
for.
physical testing rather than theoretical written down testing.
Yeah.
Whereas like
Or-
like something could stab him in the hand, he'd be like, that doesn't quite work.
Yeah, there was theoretical. All of his notes are just in a pile just somewhere. And
Yeah?
You'll see across all the walls are just various little sketches, designs, prototypes, and just templates for this prosthetic. And then it might be the next one is for an arm, and then a leg, and then back to a second arm, and it's a whole sort
Yeah,
of
a lot of
mishmash things that
circling,
only
crossing
make
out,
sense to
maybe,
him.
like when things worked. But yeah, awesome. So as you're sort of doing your tinkering thing, maybe you like messing with stuff, you're throwing nuts and bolts everywhere. You hear like loads of clanging, and you see this door, sort of. It's a very weak door, but sort of thrown together like scrap metal and stuff. So like it opens in, and as this door bursts open, you see this slightly larger female red goblin, who looks very similar to you, just a bit taller, just bursts into the door, and as she opens the door, any like prosthetics that have been thrown about, any like tests and like prototypes, they just fly across the room as she bursts in, and she goes, "Sweetie, your breakfast is ready."
Thanks. Oh god, I needed that. Sorry, I'd just be a second. Where was the? I had the prosthetics for the. Have you seen like?
You're overthinking this, sweet. We got you some porridge and some chicken. What is this?
Sorry.
It's all on the kitchen table, and I left it with your acceptance letter. You should be able to find it all right.
Thanks, man. He's gonna sort of get up off the table, try and fix it, try and collect all his loose papers, mini prototypes that might fall on the floor. He's just busy sort of putting them carefully back onto his desk as the only thing he's actually trying to sort out a proper order.
Yeah.
Just quickly just darts downstairs before anything else gets accidentally bent or broken or lost.
Yeah,
In
sure.
the maelstrom.
Cool. So you follow it downstairs, and as you go down, you sort of have like this. It's this weird sort of like windy staircase. It's been carved in, and the staircase is actually curling around the back of a room with. They're actually carved out of the stone. So the steps weren't built; they were carved out of the wall of the little. They were carved out in the wall in the underground bit. And you walk around as you walk over to this very, very shoddy looking table with holes in it. There's burn marks. It's all the legs are made of different things. You've got one made of a scrap bit of metal, another bit made of like a stone pylon. Like it's really, really weirdly put together. Very, very not stable at all. As you come downstairs, your dad, if you would like to describe him, sort of walks into the room, not the happiest, maybe like a little bit upset, sits down and he shoves a chicken leg into your bowl of porridge and just goes, "There you go, son."
Thanks. Okay. So, the dad's basically kind of stockier goblin, if we have stocky
Yeah?
goblins. Older is sort of paler red as he's been out in the sun more compared to Tiktuk. See, both his legs are prosthetics with various metals. So, like the feet are just the one rusted bronze style metal material. Then it gets sleeker silver material. Then back to some weird contraption that he's managed to materials he's found in the middle of nowhere. And so on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No. So
and
yeah.
you got
Awesome.
so then same prosthetics for his left arm, just with a little hook at the end because he hasn't quite worked out. They haven't worked out to use hands instead of just a simple replacement yet.
Mm.
So
Okay.
from earlier designs, it's just
It kind of like
hook or
Gobber
two
from
for
How
hands
to
and
Train Your
stuff.
Dragon, that kind of thing, where it has like different
Yeah.
attachments for an arm stub.
Yeah, because whilst the family business is tinkering, prosthetic, working on other tools, prosthetics and likes, they're still using their original prototypes just for sentimentality. So it might not be as good as what they've created, but it's their first lot.
Yeah.
We're sticking with it.
Awesome. So, as your dad sort of bursts into the room, again, like, as he walks in, you got a lot of things scattered about the house, loads of prototypes, and he walks past and sort of, like, as he's walking past, he notices this prototype that's pinned up against a wall, with sort of like a bloody fist print into the wall, and it's of a catapult. And he looks at it kind of like, so just like really begrudgingly sits down, and that's when he shoves his chicken leg into your porridge, being like, "Hey, you gotta eat up, son. It's your first day of school." And, like just like trying to fatten you up, you know, give you your energy. And he sort of just like sits for a while, and he just like he's trying to like organize his thoughts a little bit as he just blurts out to your mum. He's like, "I still can't believe they didn't use me. I was the biggest goblin in the platoon. This isn't fair." And then your mum sort of replies, "No, honey! At least you can be here with your son on his first day before school." And he goes, "I guess that's true. You're gonna do amazing, son." As he sort of like comes over, pats you on the head, and then starts tucking into his own bowl of food. He actually gave you his chicken leg, so he's just eating a bowl of porridge, where you got 2 chicken legs in a bowl of porridge.
Thanks, I guess. So, it sort of just gets to eating.
Yeah?
This is too much too quickly for him.
Yeah, nah, it's fair enough.
He's trying to sort of game for it's like, it's just, the catapult was a good design, at the very least.
Yeah. So,
Goblin smokes 50
it's only
a day.
to us.
this goblin smokes 50 a day, is what you just said. Yeah, so you sort of like finish your food. Is there anything that you would do in your day before you go to your first day of school? So the one thing you will notice is in the middle of the table, I forgot to mention this as you walked in, the middle of the table is your acceptance letter. Now everybody received an acceptance letter. It just says, hello, your name, you're accepted for the first day of Strixhaven as a first year, and it says the date, which is today. And yeah, so you have your acceptance letter there. Is there anything else you would do in your morning before you would leave for school?
Yeah, because it's the first day, and having had the debacles of induction, he's realised, Tiktuk, I realised that there's a lot of problems with his design, the designs of his scale mail armor. So he's been trying to augment it just to, because he used to, because he's got so much that he's taking with him. So you got all the different tools, raw materials with prosthetics, just any prosthetics he's not using at the moment but wants to try and attach later on.
Yeah.
Various school books, various other equipment, weapons, tools. Because it's all in one backpack that's just way too big and way too heavy for him.
Yeah.
He tried to create a staff just to put at the end behind his armor so that he could just hook the backpack onto that and then just take it with him.
Yeah.
And then finding out that he'd actually made it too big last for the induction, so he kept getting stuck when he sat down.
Oh.
He's still he's trying to tinker with it now. He's been
So you're trying to get it to like the right height.
Yeah, trying to sort of compact it, the rod into the back of the scale mail, trying to make it so that it's fastened securely against himself with extra harnesses just under the armor, things like that.
Yeah,
So
awesome. So you have this in your, so you have like a makeshift pole that you hang your hanging your thing on. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so you've got. Do you want to add that into your inventory? So makeshift staff. And then what we'll do is, if you ever use it as a weapon, we'll make it so it's got a certain amount of uses until it actually breaks. But yeah, awesome. So you got that, and you sort of hanging your backpack on it. You said.
Yeah, it just hooks the backpack onto it and starts trying to connect it up to this mini spine that he's created on the back of the scale mail just before he can start
Yeah.
trying to sort of wrap it up with various bits of sheet metal that he's hooked together and hammered into place to create this sturdy, very secure system.
Sturdy in Goblin terms, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can sort of see that underneath the scale mail, he's got various little leather and string bits with metal hooks that it's supposed to connect to like the legs and the arms to try and keep the whole thing on him.
Yeah.
Keep the whole thing on him, because
Awesome.
having looked at the thing, it's like 80 pounds worth of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. For a Goblin, it's
probably-
loads.
It's his own weight is his tools and his armor.
Yeah, so like the armor is the only thing holding him up, really. Like holding him to the ground, even.
Yeah, so it's like the armor, the prosthetic leg, and the staff that whenever it sort of extends to the ground, the only thing keeping him upright.
Damn.
Not
Okay.
my choice at this point. but
Yeah, no, fair
stuck
enough.
with it.
Awesome. So you head out with a backpack on the back hinge onto that staff, right?
Yeah, just whatever the school uniform just sort of put into the backpack because he can't put it over the top of the armor or under the armor because it doesn't fit, and he's sort of working out. He's still trying to work out, can I put it over the armor? Is this going to work?
Is that Okay, cool.
Try with the ties, like maybe I can just get the tie in place.
Awesome. And then you would just head out to school at that point. Yeah, awesome. So you head out, and you walk through the encampment. You see a lot of goblins sort of like screaming and cheering that you're going to this school, because in their encampment it's actually quite rare that someone would get accepted into the school. But you're walking through, and everyone's like clapping as you go past, and one even like smacks you in the backpack, and you hear like just the loud like metal clanging of everything in the backpack being shaken about at once, and it actually hurts his hand.
Oh God, no, I needed that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think that might have been the arm. Sorry, or the hammer.
Amazing. And yeah, so you're making your way to school. So the next character we're going to zoom in on is Pickles.
Oh yeah.
So we move over to directly in front of the school front gates. You see this massive front gate, like just absolutely enormous, open with a load of young people in front of it, and they're getting sort of given a tour. Some people got there much earlier and are now having a tour of the campus. And then you pan to this, like, everything's massive inside the school, it's all pristine, and then you turn around, and there's a pond in the corner on the side of a hedge, and there are actually flies flying about above this pond.
Is this from my perspective or from the goblin's perspective?
This is from a narrative perspective. We're going to your perspective very soon.
Okay.
So, same as when I was describing the encampment for TikTok. So, we go over, and you see this. It's a fairly like narrow pond, but it's very deep. And you see that it's got its regular algae, it's got its plants. It's a relatively normal pond with, you know, some small fish, some newts, lots of plants and weeds. But the top of it is littered with hundreds of tea bags. As it's actually turning the top of the water sort of like a murky brown. And yeah, so you sort of, as you look deeper into this pond, it is a mess at the bottom of it. There's rocks thrown about, there's wrappers for stuff. There are dozens of waterproof comic books. And sleeping at the bottom of this pond, Pickles, would you like to describe yourself?
Yeah, so at the bottom of the pond, you know, I'm kind of just nestled up. I've kind of got like a bit of mud over my flippers and that, and I'm flipping his feet, claw things. And I'm just kind of there, like, kind of head tucked into my shell, like, you know, like,
You wore a hoodie specifically for that bit.
yeah, just, so I'm kind of a sort of brownish, reddish, turtle, so essentially just a big turtle dude. That being said, I'm too tall.
Yes.
You know, I'm very, very, very short, very, very minuscule. And I have these bright red stripes that kind of just just the standing contrast.
What is your
down
full given name
the side of
again?
my head. Pickles the red snapper.
So if anybody doesn't know, the red snapper is actually a type of fish in the Caribbean.
Yeah, because his name is actually a red herring. His name,
Yes.
the red snapper, is a red herring.
That's amazing.
So he
And
is
it's
basically
definitely
a
on
fish.
purpose. It's
He is
definitely on
just a
purpose.
fish. Yeah.
Instead of this
Sorry.
red slider. But anyway, yeah, so Pickles the red snapper. I'm just chilling at the bottom, and I'm kind of just kind of nestled up in the mud. I presume it's kind of starting to get brighter in the day,
Yeah.
starting to stir a bit. I've got a big shell. I'm mainly shell. Think Oogway from Kung Fu Panda. Very, very shelly.
But 2 foot.
Yeah,
But 2
yeah,
foot tall.
but 2 foot and like a smaller head, shorter neck, that kind of thing. So anyway, I kind of jostle myself a bit, and I wake up and I start rolling as per usual, as I do in every day. I roll over and kind of start not the waddle equivalent of swimming up, just start going up, and I'm just kind of waving hi to all the fish and the nukes.
As you go
I
up, you hit about 14 tea bags. Go straight into your face.
Yeah.
And as you say hi to all the fish, they actually swim away from you in fear.
No, Fred, no. That just comes out as
It just bubbles.
yeah. So I reach over, I grab one of the tea bags. I need to start my day with a brew, as always. And I go find my lovely kettle,
I
which
hate
is
you.
solar powered.
At the bottom of a pond, the kettle just holds air.
Yeah.
It's exactly like SpongeBob, where it's
It's just what it heats up the surrounding area. So the point is, I just take this tea bag and I kind of swish it around.
you snort it.
Essentially, I just drink the water there, and it's just soothing. And I just kind of sit, hands on my belly, just and I float up, and I'm just kind of floating on my shell, on my back, basking in the sun, eating flies and having tea.
So,
Oh, my
as
very favourite
you
bit.
rise from the bottom of your pond, do you take any of your comic books with you?
No, I don't. I'm just. It's
You
the
leave
morning. Those are for chilling at night. I'm just
Okay.
floating up. I'm just.
Awesome. So as you float up, what the narrator would notice at the bottom of his pond is sort of like this half-broken stone tablet embedded into the floor with some inconspicuous symbols that none of you can make checks on because none of you are there. But
Nice.
you would see that at the bottom of his pond. Foreshadowing.
If you were to look. If you were to look.
If you were for some reason in a pond that looked like it had been littered with hundreds of tea bags, you would notice at the bottom of it if you can see past the brown murkiness.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you would do before you
as
go
I
to
come
school?
up, I kind of just want it. I float gently. I kind of just want to come up like a bloop, and then just a rock and a settle. And I'm just
You
there,
just flip over to your back.
basking. Every now and again, just eyes. When lizards' eyes they open and they're it's like a roll. Just kind of like that. Look around, get a fly, nom nom nom.
As you
shut
said that,
again.
my lizard has just popped out of his viv. He's just looking at me.
What was it? Remind me of his name for the chat.
Oh, so my lizard's name is full Christian given name is Stormageddon Left Nut Missing Chungus.
Credit me for the left nut missing.
Call it animal abuse, call it what you want. That's his name. And he actually knows it off by heart. When I say Stormageddon Left Nut Missing Chungus, he actually comes to me. So that one is a lie.
Really?
Yeah, who would know?
Fooled.
So at the bottom of your pond there is still your acceptance letter amongst the comic books, but you're just sort of basking at the top, relaxing. It's the morning. You're drinking some tea. Is that anything else you would do before your school day?
For the time being, no. I guess I would just wait until I float ashore. At which point,
It's not
I
an ocean.
promptly... Yeah,
Is that-
no, the shore of the pond.
Okay.
Would you call it the edge? I don't know. Anyway, the point
I
is,
wouldn't call it. I wouldn't. It's a beach, if anything.
It's not the ocean.
I know. That's the joke.
Anyway, sort of just float to the edge of the pond. We're kind of like just rocking back and forth very calmly. And as I settle, I'll kind of like jolt and just be like, okay, get up.
No.
There's no particular reason for me to get up today. I don't particularly care much for what's going on, but I did find this little note, probably just kind of like stuck in the ground.
You stole it from he, yeah. Was it so you say that you found this letter on the ground?
Yeah,
I
just found it. I was like, and there's just like a map, essentially.
Yeah, it just shows you
like,
where you're going.
And I'm just looking at it, like at the store, I'm like, and I just kind of decide, not verbally in my mind, but just kind of without even really thinking consciously, I just start following the route.
Awesome. So you've made your way to the school.
Yes, and I'm waddling there.
You're waddling to the school specifically. Okay.
Yeah.